uh, let me introduce our next speaker. So, Mr. Mendu Srinivasulu Garu, he is the founder of Safe Foundation and the vice president of eFresh. That is a very short description about him, but there's a lot you can talk about him. So, sir has been a great supporter of the entire food and agribusiness sector since last 25 years. He has worked with farmer producer organizations. He has international experience, wherein he has worked in Africa. He has developed so many youngsters to become professionals in the food and agribusiness sector. And whatever you say about him is less, because he supports us a lot. He supports everyone who is interested to develop the food and agribusiness sector in India and globally. So he is the right person to speak about what are some of the career opportunities in the entire food and agribusiness sector if someone completes a PGDM ABM program. With COVID, the situation in the market has changed. So post COVID, also the kind of jobs that are there has also changed. So Mr. Mendu Srinivasulu will be speaking about 10-15 minutes about what are the career opportunities. If anyone has a query, could write either in the chat box or we could give you an opportunity in here. Mr. Mendu, before you take over, I just want to say that there are about 30 students sitting in our campus who are viewing this Zoom session in our conference room. So I just wanted to add that. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Krishna and the team. Welcome to one and all. Thanks for the opportunity once again. And I'm very glad to see so many youngsters spending their time to choose their journey, professional and personal journey together. It is actually, of course, it's getting into the professional journey now, but it defines a lot into the personal thing as well for them. I take this opportunity to share very few thoughts, but very important, how these will be implicating each student journey here and after in their professional career. I would like to share my screen. I hope I can do that now. Yeah. Is it visible screen?
Yes, sir, it is completely visible.
Yeah. So the topic what was given to me is a career opportunities in food and agribusiness sector, which has been actually I was very much part of that, as already mentioned. So every student, what I feel is that the big problem what the world is currently going through is a big opportunity. Especially these 30 students or whoever are going to be a part of this agribusiness and food management or food and agribusiness sector is most important thing, because this is the only one thing which makes every government, every corporate across the globe to work on to bring sustainable solutions, because hunger and poverty is the biggest problem. If you look at the statistics, it's already 800 plus million people are going to bed without having proper food every day, as on present statistics, apart from that 7 billion plus population. And it is projected to be around 840 million plus people will be having affected by the hunger by 2030. That is one aspect. And since last year, we all have seen this COVID entry, which is a completely like out of the syllabus kind of thing. It has come in and then disrupted everybody's life across the globe. Not a single person is actually escaped from this impact. So this also affected a lot. If you can see that the statistics, the number of deaths happened and the number of people affected, or the business, we have not even put into this. But the uncertainty, what COVID has brought is that a lot of uncertainty, and also the importance for the healthy food, importance for the agribusiness sector role to minimize the pressure on the health sector. So this is, and administration also. So suddenly this has brought so much importance to agriculture and food business management areas. So that is one of the important aspect has come into this. So the big problem is the biggest opportunity, what I say to all the students. Then what is the big opportunity? If you look at that, we just spoke about hunger and poverty is the largest issue. To solve that, we are seeing so many opportunities and so many innovative things are happening every day, every day. So many agri-tech companies are coming in, not just only existing companies. New things are coming in the name of startups. If you look at the statistics, worldwide, there are 1600 plus startups which have come as on 2019. This is a quite old slide I am using. But at the same time, they are not very clear about, so they all come with brilliant ideas. They firmly believe that this idea is going to change the landscape what they are operating in. I mean that they are going to provide solutions to the problems. But when it comes to the Indian agri-tech startups, we have 600 plus roughly startups which have actually contributed to 1% of the market size, which is estimated at 24 billion US dollars for the 5 years time frame. In fact, we already lost 1 year. And so this is what actually projected by the Ernst & Young report, where India has the potential for 24 billion US dollars in only in agri-tech startups, which is actually comprising this food and agri-business sector as well. So the performance other way on the ground is it's just about 1% of its potential. It means that just only 200 million US dollars we achieved. So you can just imagine that what is the opportunity and what are the challenges. So the challenges here is that we need quality human resources. We need quality human resources who actually can tap this opportunity. This will not be unleashed just like that, just because there is an opportunity. So the most important thing is that the students need to understand there is a big opportunity and it is only possible through the quality human resources. You all need to become a quality human resources where you actually can be most preferred by the industry, if at all you wanted to be employed by some other organizations, or if you want to start something on your own, then you also need to develop some entrepreneurial qualities and then understanding about that ecosystem. So it's all about the basic thing is all about that you all need to become a quality human resources. So this actually makes a lot of difference when you are actually into which ecosystem you are going to learn things. So these are the one of the important aspects which I wanted to stress on. Then we look at broadly. I don't want to mention about the companies and all those things here because we all know that there are so many established companies. I may be talking about very few of them, and we are not going to limit the number of companies existing or number of companies are going to float or the innovations going to come into this. But what are the things driving for these kind of new things or existing companies to expand are that there are certain things which we talk about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I hope that the students are well aware of these things. Even if you are not aware, that's not a problem, but you should start looking at these things. The FABS course, I am sure that they are going to take you through about these opportunities of the 17 goals, what it is going to be offering once you are part of this. So here, the global goals have been defined into 17 important goals. They touch across various aspects in our day-to-day lives. So it can be about the poverty, hunger, and then health, education, gender, water and sanitation, clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, strong institutions, and more importantly, partnerships. So you all need to be learning these things to collaborate each other. It starts from your college, it starts from your family, it starts from your friends circle and your faculty and everything. If you start these aspects properly, then it will open up many things because everything depends on the cooperation. This is not just a competition era. It is more than that. It is called as a cooperative era. You have to compete to cooperate. That is what most going to preferred thing now in these evolving situations. So my point is that students, you all need to critically look at that these opportunities spreading from these sustainable development goals because they are important for every government to showcase the progress in the human life or quality index, what we are actually going to measure it. And second thing is that the industries also strive to provide services according to these things only. Specifically coming into your area, food and agribusiness sector domain, I just wanted to highlight you people to choose the agri value chain approach. See, it's not only just agriculture, even it is applicable for the allied sectors also. So if you look at that agriculture as an example for it, see that there are so many things cut across the value chain from what the farmers or farmer institutions requires from beginning of their activity to complete their farm operations, and then ensure that that value chain actually is moving efficiently and providing various diversified products to the consumers. So you actually have a diversified opportunities across these value chains, right from beginning from the seeds, plant nutrients, plant protection inputs, smart irrigation, farm mechanization, digital transactions, digitization, data-driven analytics. Nowadays people are actually trying to say that too many things are driving through the artificial intelligence and machine learning aspects. And also risk mitigation services, which are insurance, are also very innovative insurance. It's not just general insurance kind of thing, but a weather index based insurance, or particularly a specific risk actually identified and then customized into that. And then financial services for the agriculture and agri business activities. So food processing industry is huge. It requires crores, hundreds of crores also required, if you want to change the agriculture produce into a value added, and which is converted into the ready-made consumable, and also most preferred in different aspects. Maybe it is solid or liquid, or a different kind of things. Then post-harvest storage solutions is very, very important area, where we all know that India is losing a lot of money at farm gate level after the post-harvest, after the harvest is done, because lack of proper infrastructure is available at farm gate level, and also lack of know-how and technology. So we are losing a lot of money, more than 1 lakh crores per annum. And now the government of India also has come with a very appropriate policies, and then infrastructure development fund, which is going to help them. So this is one of the area where you people also can get a lot of emerging opportunities, because India is so big. We all know that such a big country, such a diversified country in agriculture, agroclimatic conditions, it is like a mini world. You can cultivate anything in India, whatever it is being grown outside India, across the globe. So such a diversity is offering wonderful opportunities within the country for us. So I think we all need to know beautiful things, what COVID has taught us. When the COVID has come, every government actually went into the lockdown. Of course, India also locked down internally, even if we could not travel to state also. But if you look at it, this kind of situation comes only for the country to country in future, right now. Then India actually gives a great opportunity, because you are a mini world. You can actually freely move within the country, but you can also do a lot of business within the country. So that's the beauty and the greatest potential it is offering in any kind of situation. And then you can also send it to the global markets also once the things are stabilized, which is anyway is going to happen. It's not going to be locked down for completely also. It won't work out. So that is one of the area. Farm logistics is another innovative area, because a lot of things have to be moved from the farm gate to warehouses, cold storages, or food processing industries where they are located in clusters, and moving to the retailers and consumers. So that's where the lot of innovative opportunities also again there for the agribusiness management students. Digital marketing is another emerging thing, because it's very powerful. It can be customized, and it can be targeted to the especially to whom you wanted to reach out. If you look at in the past, we used to have some ads in the television during some serials break or some kind of thing, some movie you are watching, and then you will come, or even news times, you get some kind of advertisements. They are very general. When somebody is watching television, means that is across the country that goes, but the target audience will be very limited who are watching that. It's a limitation. Even if you look at the movie theaters, some advertisement comes in some point of time, and the people who are watching that movie may not be 100% targeted to that, but largely. So, but in coming to the agriculture and food industry, this is very, very important for the people to customize and then reach out to the target thing. So digital marketing is going to provide that kind of advantage to professionals to help the farmer producer organizations or even agriculture industry stakeholders. That's going to be a huge one. So another one is that branding. We all knew that how important branding is. Otherwise, we don't even recall. Branding is a kind of identity somebody has created over a period of time by providing quality products, quality services, and reliability. So this is a completely creating a trust among the service providers and users. So the brand is not just created overnight. It will not be created just because somebody spends so much of money and then hires some professionals or some celebrities, and then it's not going to happen. Maybe they will be helpful until unless they really have the right product and reaches to the users and got the acceptance of the users. So the branding is very, very important, where the agriculture business, agri and food business industry is really have so much opportunity in this. It's emerging. And my simple example I would like to put it here is that every farmer producer organization, now India is having around 8,000 plus farmer producer organizations, and the government of India is again going to promote 10,000 more, and maybe few more comes. So roughly, if we can think that another 5 years down the line, we will be having 20,000 plus farmer producer organizations in the country. So India is having 6.48 lakh villages and close to 12 plus crore farmer families who are going to be part of this. They all are small and marginal farmers by and large, and then having a very limited educational background or some limitations, you can say seriously. If each and every farmer producer organization is going to provide it, the diversity of the services what we have listed out here, because they are also supposed to work like a company. At the same time, the identity for each and every farmer producer organization, if you can create that, that's going to be a big thing. So today, out of these 8,000 existing farmer producer companies, we cannot recall more. We can only talk about few things like Ankapur, Mulkanur, Kautlabi, Azili, and then what else? Then Sahyadri Farms. Then there are few more things comes like this. So suddenly, Pradhan, Keshla, there are some poultry promoted FPOs are there. So these things are needed to be more and more. We need to get more and more. So the branding plays very crucial role in these things. So that's a great opportunity for the students who have that kind of a knowledge and all those things, because it's not like just creating a brand, a logo or something like that. You have to provide a lot of knowledgeable services once you are going to create the branding. That is more important. And another important aspect is the output marketing. So farmers are producing so many commodities. The biggest problem for them is to sell it for the fair price, the good returns, how they can get it for the output. So it requires a lot of mainstream market linkages, what we call them as institutional buyers, to come and then buy it. Institutional buyers cannot come for the lower volumes, and you need to organize them, and you need to make sure that there is a quality, there is quantity, and there is continuity of the product supply. Then only the institutional buyers will be interested. So the recent government reforms also actually going to help these things, where they are allowed, the farmers can sell their produce anywhere in the country without any barriers, and also they can also enter into the forward contracts. So agreeing with some companies or some institution, and then agreeing the predetermined price and quantities and then quality parameters. So that's going to help a lot. But these are the things which are going to emerge. They are not ready-made available now. We have only very few examples. So you people have these kind of innovative and vast opportunities which is not yet touched. I'd say that this is like just like a tip of the iceberg what we are seeing today. So if you have these kind of things connected to your individual passion, your individual career aspirations, and knowing the subject, connecting with the experts outside and then inside of the institutions, and definitely you people will have a great career opportunities in this. And again, imports and exports is another area. So we can talk a full day also on these things. And then the policy advocacy. Policy is very important. Every business actually is supposed to work in the stipulated statutory guidelines. So policies actually determines that. So there will be times that at times the policies will be changed, and so there is a great need for the professionals who actually can understand those policy changes appropriately, and simply educate the same thing to the beneficiaries, users. Otherwise, what happens? Some point of time they will be fined if they are not complying with the policy related things. Then if they are not complying with the statutory compliances, those institutions will be fined, and it can be leading to the arrests of the key people engaged in that, or they can, their licenses, the business licenses can be cancelled, or they can be heavily fined, where their profits and earnings also can be taken away in one simple thing. So these are very important things. Some of you people can also look at that. If it is close to your area, then you can really get into the more knowledge. That's where these opportunities comes in. And food processing is the biggest thing is emerging now, because agriculture actually need to be seen as a gateway or a foundation for the food industry. So once it is well established, the food processing, if it is going to the local cluster level, to the each and every areas, that is the reason why Government of India is now talking about one village or one district, one product kind of thing. So these are going to consolidate the food processing units efficiency, operational sustainability, and also the quality aspects for the logistical advantage. So these kind of things are having a lot of opportunities again in the food processing. Now I will explain few examples in this next slides, how we are also noticing in the industry is happening. And R&D, research and development. So you don't need to confuse with the word what I put it R&D, because we are not scientists, we are not doing any research here. But what I'm saying is that the R&D companies also requires professionals to manage the things. Not everybody is going to run that. All scientists cannot run only by R&D companies. They require professionals who understands the purpose of the research is being taken over there. So these are actually going to be unique opportunities. I have limited these things very precisely. There are few more also apart from this, but I feel that this is very crystal clear for all of you to see the diversity of the opportunities where the agriculture and food industry is actually going to provide plenty of opportunities to all of you. So my point is that whatever we do, whatever you are trying to do even tomorrow, innovation has to be the key. It has to be the key point. You look at the established companies I just mentioned here. One is ITC, and one more is Bambino and PepsiCo. ITC and Bambino more are Indian companies, and PepsiCo is an international company. They are well established for the decades, and you all see that how many products of them you actually is touching daily in our day-to-day life, in our kitchen, or when we go outside, when we eat a potato chips, or we eat a chocolate, we eat a biscuit or a cookie, or anything you talk about that, or even if you drink as a juice, or you drink some soft drink or anything, they touch in our life. They all come from food, what we are actually trying to produce or help the farmers. So you can understand your role, how important it is. So this is not going to limit only for the established brands. The business is open for anybody, even a small individual also can contribute for this. So that's what the important aspect one and all has to be recognized. If you look at the Indian food market size right now is all about 1.3 billion US dollars per annum, and it is also growing at the rate of 20% compound growth per annum. So rapidly growing, so more than the GDP growth. So this is where we need to see that the opportunities are unlimited, but you need to be innovative. So how these companies are standing and then continuing their legacy by bringing the the diversified products and the changes in the products to match with the changing behavior of the consumer. So these are very important. So another example I wanted to give is the eFresh, where myself I represent as a vice president. We started farmer development centers, a one-stop shop for the agri inputs across the agri value chain, what I just spoke. So the farmers will get from seeds to post-harvest related and market linkages. So they get everything from one store. So these are the things we innovated for the franchise business model. These will be taken by individual entrepreneurs or farmer producer organizations. Even Samunati also joined hands with us, and then they are actually working together to set up these FDCs across the country. Initially, we went very focused because this is a new model, and 2 to 3 years we spent on that. Now we scaled up. Now we are having 75 plus farmer development centers across 9 states in India. And in another 1 month, we are going to touch about 100 centers, and it will go on continuously. The point is that innovation is the key. Again, I am saying that. And you cannot deliver what you want. What is most important is that to understand what the consumer wants, what the customer needs, and how it is going to be relevant to the people who are going to be part of this. That's where I mentioned about collaborations. You need to compete to collaborate with the right people and credible people, credible institutions, so that whatever we do, we need to bring more value proposition. These are the things which you are supposed to learn during you are in the college with institutions like FABS, where they are actually having very good experts, bringing in diversified people across the country and then across the globe also. This is what I am saying, that these kind of innovations are going to be the need of the country. And recently, I was part of managed CIA Agritech startup companies evaluation for the investments. And I got to know about this one company. This is called Akshimitra. So this is about livestock. You see that machine, it's an innovative machine they introduced to reduce the inefficiencies in litter management in the farms, poultry farms. So that is actually bringing a lot of value proposition by reducing the deaths of the poultry chicks and increasing health, productivity and cost, benefit and everything. So that's a big success. Now they are exporting to other countries. They are looking into more. This is a small startup started very recently. So innovation is the key. By understanding the customer requirements and whatever the problems you see, problems are opportunities. You should not be run away. And you should not be only looking at, only I have to work with the big companies. There is nothing such. Every big company started somewhere very small. This is the fundamental thing. So you have to love to work with the innovative ideas which are promising to create great impact on the key stakeholders in the sector you are going to work in. That is more important. I will explain you about that also in later slide. So this is another company, again, the same thing, PureMe Organics, for example. This is started by one lady entrepreneur who studied in Australia and then come back to Maharashtra, where is her native place. And she started jaggery products, which are very uniquely customized into different, including liquid drops and these kind of, cubes, powder, and some kind of a sugarcane, chalks. So that's where the innovation has come in. Now people will see the value proposition because it is customized to various people's consumers' requirements. It could be in the health aspects, it could be in the taste aspects, or it could be in a cultural and traditional aspects also. So the market is very diversified. So this is important for the students to understand while you are into this kind of course, professional course. So that's where I am saying that innovation is the key to think through how best it can be delivered for the consumer requirements. So now we will come to the basic question. That's fine. Now we understand that what are the biggest challenges, opportunities, and the diversity of the opportunities, and then some examples. And we also understood that quality human resources are the need of the hour. If we wanted to touch the 24 billion US dollar market opportunity in Indian agriculture space in the next 4 years, you are in the right time. You will be coming out of the college in the next 2 years, and you still have 2 more years, and then even after that also you can be the early entrant in this kind of a big opportunity. You are in the early people in the big league, I can say that. So what makes the quality? You need to identify these 3 P's. What I am saying here is that the people are the most important element. Without people, we can't talk anything. So you are the people, students. You need to have 3 things to figure it out in yourself. One is passion. You need to find out your passion. You all may be doing the same thing, but I already spoke different things in the agri-business value chain thing. So in that, you can be connected to anything. That is what your passion. So you also identify your purpose, what you wanted to do it to achieve or to fulfill your passion. You need to figure it out your purpose. That's where the mentors will help you, your faculty members or people like us. There are so many people, the FABS is going to connect with you on time to time, so they can also guide you. In fact, they have wonderful advisory board. So that's where you get your purpose is defined, connecting to your passion. Then the most important thing for all of you is that to practice that. If you do not practice, you don't get the performance. Performance is nothing but creating impact. So the practice, when you wanted to practice, you need to have, make sure that even if it is the less quantity, you have to make sure that you have quality and you have consistency. These are the most important things the students need to learn during your valuable time you are spending after your undergraduation, which you have spent already for 4 years. Now you are going to spend 2 more years. So this is going to define you to become a quality human resource the time you are going to come out of the campus. So this is where you people need to spend more time to identify and capture the opportunities what we just spoke about. So I am just given here a couple of people, very famous personalities who inspired us or who built societies, transformational initiatives or institutions within India and across the globe. I don't want to take to name all of them, but I guess you people are good enough to understand who are they. Why I'm saying this thing is that the 3 P's what we earlier spoke, passion, purpose, practice, those 3, these people have immensely implemented. They all have connected, they all have passionated, they all were connected with the purpose, and they practiced it religiously. They did not give up despite how many challenges they have faced it, but they did not give up. So that is the reason today we are able to see all of them and the impact what they created in the society, and we still get inspiring. I could have put even new people also, but I thought that the new people or may not be, you may not be able to recognize immediately. But this is not just limited only for this kind of very stalwarts kind of thing. The change makers will be everywhere. Change makers will be across all the corners of the country and globe. So you will find them even among the farmers, among the teachers, among the youth. Anyone you can see that you will be finding. But the people who are doing in whatever they believe in the circuit, they will bring an impact. So these are the aspects which I am saying that passion, purpose, practice is the key. You need to connect with that things. So with these things, I just wanted to close my interaction and then my presentation. With this quote, what Professor Swaminathan has mentioned, if agriculture fails, everything else will fail. This is a simple thing. Please take pride of the career you have chosen. And I'm sure that you all will benefit from this a lot, and you will excel in this career by contributing a lot for India's development. A proud Indians and a great leaders you will be emerging out of these things, and we will be very happy to assist you in future also to provide services from us. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your passion can be seen in your speech, actually. And that is why you are such a right person to talk about what are the opportunities in this sector. And the approach that you mentioned, the agri value chain approach for exploring opportunities in the food and agribusiness sector, I feel is the right way for any student to actually explore the opportunities. So thank you so much, sir, once again. Now that you've spoken about how opportunities can be, what kind of opportunities are there in the sector and what kind of opportunities can be developed. So I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mrs. Veena Vadlakonda. So Mrs. Veena Vadlakonda is one such person like Mr. Mendu Srinivasulu, who has completed her agribusiness management program, and she's an alumni of Food and Agribusiness School. So she's an alumni from here, and she has made a name for herself in the sector. So she's a senior business analyst at Adama India Private Limited, and she has been working more than 9 years in the sector with a lot of passion, especially agri IT and agri analysis. She has worked in Adama. She has worked in ICAR. She has worked in Access Livelihood Consultancy. So she comes with a lot of experience. So she will be giving a short speech about what kind of career growth can happen in the food and agribusiness sector if someone completes an agribusiness management program. So with that, I would like to introduce Mrs. Veena Vadlakonda. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishna. Yeah, Krishna, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Sir has, Srinivaslu sir has given the huge details of the huge opportunities we have got in food and agribusiness sector. So I would like to share my screen.
Yeah,
hello.
You're audible, yeah. And the screen is also visible.
Okay, thank you. So sir has already given the details about the sectors in his agri value chain approach, but I just wanted to mention, I'll not get into the details. So the major sector would be the agri input sector. That agri input sector comprises of fertilizer companies, agrochemical companies, and seed companies. And also follow the next sector would be the banks, because banks will be having the separate domain for agriculture. So that is where the banks look for the agribusiness management students, and also the market research organizations, the consulting companies, which provide the consultation services for the projects meant for agriculture sectors. And next sector would be the food processing companies. Sir has detailed it very well. And also the agri-tech companies. Like last 10 years, there is a tremendous growth we can see in agri-tech companies. People are developing apps for farmers, and using mobile apps for their daily activities. That's a importance it is gaining nowadays. And also the allied sectors can be the agri retail chains and also organic food industry. If we see all these sectors, these will be the private sectors. But if students, if they want to get into the government institutions also, and nowadays government institutions are also looking for agribusiness management students for their projects. I'll get into the details of the domains where the students who complete agribusiness management can target for. So these are the different domains. First domain will be the sales domain. Sales domain, initially you will be absorbed as a sales trainee. So here your job role can be interacting with the dealers, retailers, and getting the sales done and generating sales for the organization. This will be your role in sales domain. And the next domain would be the marketing domain. In marketing domain, you will be more into the promotion of the products and conducting field trials or mobilizing farmers about your product. This, like in this domain, you will be absorbed as a management trainee. So later on, you will be moved on to the marketing development manager based on your performance. And coming to the product management, this is a higher position, next level position to the marketing development manager, because after gaining 5 to 6 years of experience in field, you will be taken as a product manager, because any input organization will have product managers position. And the next domain would be supply chain and operations. So for any input organization, the manufacturing unit will be at one place, but it has to supply the product all over India based on the season and the demand, based on the demand. So this is where companies are looking for agribusiness management students to make a plan how the product has to reach the market. The next domain would be the business intelligence domain. This is the domain where I am working. This is an emerging domain, I should say, in agri input sector. Like currently, every input organization is having this business intelligence domain. Earlier, like when I was in the start of my career, there was no any domain as such, business intelligence. But now every input industry is looking for having this business intelligence domain. It is nothing but this domain expertise will have the entire industry data. They maintain the data and they give their insights from the data to the management. Accordingly, management will plan about their products. They will get to know about the competitor products. So everything is visualized to the management. So the next domain would be the product management. Mostly this domain is seen with the consulting services kind of organizations. And as I said earlier, like the above 6 domains are all these domains we can see in private sectors. So if you want to get into government job, then also ABM will provide you this opportunity, because there is an exam called National Eligibility Test. So once you get through this examination, you are eligible to work as a professor in any of the university in India. So that is the benefit this agribusiness management could provide you. And if not for a job, you can be an entrepreneur, because this agribusiness management program will provide you those skills to be an entrepreneur. As sir said, there are many people like my juniors, they are starting their own businesses. Can be service, few of them have started service-oriented startups, and few have started product-oriented startups also. Being the student of very first batch, I want to share my experience. Like initially, we faced many challenges, but the quality of education we got, I should say that was amazing, because we were taught the real life, real business scenarios with the case studies, the concepts which we were taught till date, like I apply in my job. So what I suggest you, whatever you learn here in college, that will be applied in your real life job role also. So I suggest you to study well. All the very best for your careers. Like if you have any doubts, please ask me. I can clarify your doubts.
Thank you, Mrs. Veena. That was short and sweet. Actually, you hit the nail on the wall. So Mendu sir gave a broad perspective, and you spoke specifically as to how a person's career can grow in the agri-business sector. So thank you so much for that. We are really thankful for your support.
Thank you, Krishna, for providing me this opportunity to share my views. Because, like, exactly, students at this point of stage, students will know, like, they can get into input organizations. But in organization, what will be the domains, like, where they can see themselves on a job role? I also suggest them. Like right from now only, they should target like which domain they want to work. Accordingly, they should work on the skill development part. So for example, like I was interested in project management and business intelligence. So my focus was on that. Like few people will have interest in sales. They should work developing their skills in suitable for sales domain. So that way students can grow. So many of my batchmates are in very good positions, territory managers, regional managers, business managers, everyone are in manager positions. I'm very happy to share that.